Hello, my dear students. In this lecture, we are going to see conduction, convection, heat transfer through composite slab. Now, my dear students, here let us understand the composite slab. Let us say there are two slabs combined together. Let us say this is the slab number one. Right, this will be your slab number one, having thickness B1, right, and thermal conductivity K1. This slab we will be having thermal conductivity K1. And let us say there is another slab of thickness B2, let us say B2, right, and thermal conductivity K2. These are the two slabs. And my dear students, through this slab there will be a conduction, and as well as we are considering the convection heat transfer from this both sides of slab, right. So let us say on the left side of slab, let us say this is the outside here. On left side there is a outside here which is a hot gases. Let us say there are hot gases, right, there are hot gases on the left side of slab which are at temperature Tg, temperature of gas, and the convective heat transfer coefficient is H1. Here the convective heat transfer coefficient is H1. And on the left side of right side of the slab, that is inside the room, let us say this is the inside room and this is the outside room, there are cold gases, cold air. Let us say there is a cold air on the right side of this slab or wall, and which is at temperature T infinity, and convective heat transfer coefficient H2. There is a convective heat transfer coefficient H2. So my dear students, what will happen between this left face of the first slab and this outside here, that is hot gases, there will be a convection heat transfer, right. So my dear students, here we will say there will be a convection heat transfer between the outside air. This will be the Q convection between the outside hot gases and the left face of the first slab, right. And again between the right face of the second slab and inside here, that is cold air, again there will be a convection heat transfer. Again there will be a convection heat transfer, right, Q convection. And inside this slab there will be a conduction heat transfer. So my dear students, we can say here inside this slab there will be a conduction heat transfer. This is the Q conduction, as well as here there will be a Q conduction. Q conduction. In both slabs there will be a conduction heat transfer, right. Now my dear students, here are few assumptions. With the help of these assumptions we are going to do analysis of this conduction convection heat transfer through the composite slab. Now there are few assumptions. Let us understand these assumptions. Now very first assumption is that it is a steady state heat transfer. It is a steady state heat transfer. The meaning of steady state heat transfer is that temperature is not a function of time. Temperature is not a function of time. Small t is for time and capital T is for temperature. That means at particular location with respect to time, the temperature will always remain constant. Let's say this left side of slab is subjected to temperature T1. So this temperature T1 will always remain constant at any time, right. Then the intersection of these two slabs is subjected to T2. Let us say it is subjected to temperature T2, and the right side of second slab is subjected to temperature T3. And my dear students, these temperatures are always constant with respect to time, right. The temperature will change with respect to location only, that is distance only, right. Second assumption is that 1D conduction, it is a unidirectional, one directional conduction heat transfer, right. One directional conduction heat transfer. That means here temperature is a function of any one direction. Now here I am considering from left to right, that is x direction. Therefore in this case temperature is a function of only x direction, right. Therefore it is called 1D conduction heat transfer. And then the third assumption is uniform thermal conductivity. Here there will be a uniform thermal conductivity. Thermal conductivity. Now my dear students, uniform thermal conductivity meaning the thermal conductivity remains constant, right. Uniform thermal conductivity, that means the thermal conductivity K will always remains constant. That means for first slab K1 is constant, and for second slab K2, thermal conductivity of second slab K2 is also constant, right. Here thermal conductivity will not change with respect to temperature. This is called uniform thermal conductivity. Basically these are the three assumptions. And as it is a steady state heat transfer, therefore my dear students, the heat transfer through this slab by convection, by conduction as well as by convection is same. That means let us say this convection is first convection between outside hot gases and the left face of the first slab. This convection heat transfer is equal to the conduction in first slab, that is first conduction, is equal to conduction in second slab, is equal to conduction in second slab, is equal to convection to the inside room, that is cold air, convection to the cold air, right? Therefore, because of this steady state conduction, we can say, or steady state heat transfer, we can say the convection heat transfer in first case is equal to conduction heat transfer in first case is equal to conduction through second slab is equal to convection heat transfer through the inside room, right? This is called steady state heat transfer, that is heat transfer at each and every location is same. Now my dear students, we know that this heat transfer is nothing but temperature difference divided by R thermal resistance through the circuit, right? Therefore it is a change in temperature divided by thermal resistance. Now here there is a convection as well as conduction. So my dear students, R convection, we know that the convection resistance, the convection thermal resistance is nothing but 1 upon HA, right? Where H is nothing but convective heat transfer coefficient and A is the area of contact, and here R conduction. For conduction heat transfer, there is a conduction heat transfer resistance which is nothing but L divided by Ka, which is nothing but L divided by Ka, where L is nothing but here this length, that is thickness, we can say also here, right? Thickness of slab, which is nothing but B1 and B2 here for different slabs. K is the thermal conductivity of respective slab, and A is a area is a cross sectional area. Here for our conduction, we are considering cross sectional area. For convection, we are considering exposed area between the fluid and the solid surface, right? Now if you observe carefully here, let us observe here, if I consider convection area, this slab will be having some width. Let us say the width of slab is in this z direction, right? This slab will be having some width in z direction likewise, right? And likewise there will be a slab, right? Now my dear students, can I say this dimension is y dimension? Let us, sorry, this dimension is z dimension. Let us say this dimension is z dimension. Here the height, let us say this height is y dimension, height is y dimension. Now my dear students, for convection from both sides, here for convection z into y, this is the exposed area between fluid and the solid surface, z into y. Therefore here we can say the convection area, area of convection is equal to, here we can say z into y or y into z, y into z for both side. This side also the inside here is subjected to y into z area, right? This will be the subjected area, y, that is height, into z. This is the subjected area for convection, right? Therefore area of convection is y into z. Similarly, the conduction area, for conduction area, the area is perpendicular to heat transfer. Now heat transfer is along x direction, therefore for x direction perpendicular area is y into z only. Therefore here area of conduction, area of conduction is also y into z. That means we can say here area of convection as well as area of conduction is same, right? You can see the perpendicular area is z into y, right? Therefore here area is same, for this heat transfer area is same. So my dear students, and we know that here the Q convection is nothing but temperature change divided by R thermal, that is thermal resistance, right? Now my dear students, we know that for a convection resistance it is 1 upon HA, and conduction resistance is 1 upon L divided by Ka. So let us do the thermal analysis. Now let us draw the thermal circuit over here. Now my dear students, this Tg is the highest temperature. Here Tg is highest temperature than T1. T1 is more than T2, and T2 is more than T3, and T3 is more than T infinity, that is surrounding temperature. Now with the help of this temperature, that means heat flow is from left to right. Heat is always flowing from high temperature to low temperature. Now let us draw the thermal circuit. Now for this convection heat transfer, there will be a convection resistance R1, right? Therefore here there will be a convection resistance R1. During this conduction heat transfer in first slab, there will be a conduction resistance R2. During the conduction heat transfer between second slab, there will be a conduction resistance R3, right? And for outside, that is cold air in the room and this surface, there will be a convection resistance, that is R4. Therefore there will be a 4 resistance. Let us draw the analogy here. Now initially the temperature is Tg, Tg. Then there will be a R convection, which is R1, right? Here R convection, which is R1, and R convection is nothing but 1 upon HA. Therefore, we have to consider convective heat transfer coefficient at this location. Therefore, it will be equal to 1 upon H1 area. As area is constant, I am considering area constant. Then after this resistance, temperature is becoming T1, right? Therefore, there will be a temperature T1, and after T1, between T1 and T2, there is a conduction resistance of the first slab. Therefore, between T1 and T2, there is a conduction resistance of first slab, which is nothing but R2, which is nothing but B1 divided by K1A, right? Conduction resistance is EL divided by Ka, na? And here EL is B1 divided by K1A. Then between T2 and T3, there is a conduction resistance of second slab, which is R3. Therefore, here between T2 and T3, there is a conduction resistance R3, which is nothing but B2 divided by K2A, right? And my dear students, between T3 and T infinity, there is a convection resistance of this outside here, which is at having convective heat transfer coefficient H2. Therefore, between T3 and here T infinity, there is a R4, which is nothing but 1 upon H2A, right? And my dear students, H is nothing but convective heat transfer coefficient. H is convective heat transfer coefficient, which is in watt per meter square Kelvin. The unit of this is watt per meter square Kelvin. And K is thermal conductivity. K is thermal conductivity, which is having unit of watt per meter Kelvin. This will be the unit of thermal conductivity. That already we know. And area is A is meter square, right? So, my dear students, let us find the heat transfer rate, right? Here we are going to find the heat transfer rate. Now, my dear students, the heat transfer rate is uniform along the x direction, that is steady state conduction. It is a steady state conduction or convection. Therefore, Q is equal to, if I consider temperature difference Tg minus T1, here the formula for Q is temperature difference divided by resistance, right? If I consider temperature difference Tg minus T1, then between these two temperatures resistance is R1, therefore divided by R1 is equal to, if I consider T1 minus T2, resistance is R2. If I consider T2 minus T3, resistance is R3. And if I consider T3 minus T infinity, then resistance is R4, right? Now, whatever the temperature difference you are considering, between these temperature difference, we have to consider the resistance. Similarly, let us observe here, if I consider Q is equal to, let us say, if I consider Tg minus T2, right? Here I am considering temperature difference between hot gas and T2, that is interface temperature for the wall, right? Then between them, there is a R1 and R2. Therefore, here we have to consider R1 plus R2. If I consider T1 minus T infinity, right? If I consider T1 minus T infinity, you can consider any difference. Then between T1 and T infinity, the resistance is R2, R3, R4. Therefore, it will become R2 plus R3 plus R4. And similarly, my dear students, if I consider total temperature difference, that is Tg minus T infinity, if I consider total temperature difference, then I have to consider all the resistance, that is R1 plus R2 plus R3 plus R4. This is how we can write. And my dear students, this total resistance R total is nothing but R1 plus R2 plus R3 plus R4. Now, if you are using this total resistance, then always we have to consider total temperature difference. Now, by using these relations, we can find any temperature, any intermediate temperature. We can find T1, T2, T3 or any temperature by using these relations. Now, let us find this heat transfer. Now, my dear students, I am taking this on this side so that we will get sufficient space here. Now, this heat transfer Q is equal to Tg minus T infinity, that I am considering total temperature difference, then it will be R1 plus R2 plus R3 plus R4. Total resistance we have to consider. Therefore, is equal to Tg minus T infinity divided by R1 is nothing but 1 upon H1A plus R2 is B1 divided by K1A plus R3 is B2 divided by K2A plus R4 is 1 upon H2A, right? This is how we can write. So, my dear students, this answer will be in watt. As it is a heat transfer, this answer will be in watt. And if I want to find heat flux, right? Now we know that heat flux is nothing but heat transfer per unit area, right? This is in watt per meter square. So from here, if I consider this area common, this will go up in the numerator, and again to the left side it will go to the denominator. Therefore, it will become Tg minus T infinity divided by 1 upon H1 plus B1 divided by K1 plus B2 divided by K2 plus 1 upon H2. Right. This will be the heat flux in watt per meter square, that is per unit area. Right. This is the heat transfer per unit area, which is also called heat flux. Now, my dear students, after understanding this, let us understand the concept of overall heat transfer coefficient. Now, my dear students, let us understand the concept of overall heat transfer coefficient. It is represented by U. Now, here I have written the formula of heat flux that we have already derived in previous session. Now, heat flux is nothing but Q by A, which is nothing but Tg minus T infinity, that is total temperature difference. Right? We have to consider total temperature difference divided by 1 upon H1 plus B1 by K1 plus B2 by K2 plus 1 upon H2. Right? This formula we have seen just now. Now, for overall heat transfer coefficient finding, we have to consider total temperature difference. That's why I am considering this formula. Now, my dear students, this in terms of overall heat transfer coefficient, it is considered, it is known as, it is a parameter which takes into account all the modes of heat transfer in single entry. That means there is a convection heat transfer, there is a conduction, there is a conduction, there is a convection. These all heat transfer modes, this U is considering into single entry. That is the effect of H1, K1, K2 and H2. All are considered in single entry. This is called overall heat transfer coefficient. And by using overall heat transfer coefficient, the formula of heat transfer, that is Q, heat transfer in watt, is given as UA delta T. UA delta T, where this delta T is total temperature difference. Where this delta T is here total temperature difference. Therefore, Q will become UA Tg minus T infinity. Right. So, my dear students, again we can write the heat flux. Here we can write Q divided by area, which is heat flux. This is will be in watt. This answer will be in watt. Therefore, watt per meter square, that is heat flux, Q divided by area will be equal to, we can write Tg minus T infinity divided by 1 upon U. This is how we can write. Now let us say this is our second equation. Let us say this is our second equation, and we have this first equation. Right. Now from these, equate these two equations. Therefore, can I say 1 upon U is equal to this term, denominator term. Therefore, we can say 1 upon U is equal to 1 upon H1 plus B1 divided by K1 plus B2 divided by K2 plus 1 upon H2, where U is called overall heat transfer coefficient. Now, my dear students, if you look at the formula, here Q is equal to UA delta T, right? The unit of U will be equal to Q divided by A delta T. Q is in watt, area in meter square, and delta T in Kelvin. Therefore, my dear students, this U will be having unit of watt per meter square Kelvin, which is the unit of VH also. Therefore, the convective heat transfer coefficient EH and the overall heat transfer coefficient EU are having same unit. And the overall heat transfer coefficient is a combined parameter which considers the effect of H1, K1, K2 and H2 together. And my dear students, whenever this overall heat transfer coefficient is more, then heat transfer will be more. Now let us understand here. If this overall heat transfer coefficient is more, just a minute, let us say this Q is nothing but UA delta T. Right here, in terms of overall transfer coefficient, the heat transfer can be defined as UA delta T, which is also written as delta T divided by 1 upon UA, which is nothing but delta T divided by R total. Here this is total resistance or not, because here total temperature difference we are considering, delta T is total temperature difference, therefore it is R total. So my dear students, whenever U is more, that means heat transfer is more, that means the total resistance is less, that means the total resistance is very less. Right. Thank you dear students. In next lecture we will see numerical on this topic.